You are an entrepreneur, so start acting like one. I want to talk about a message that we're going to talk about with James, actually, but you are an entrepreneur, so start acting like one. I remember when I started my business, I thought being an entrepreneur meant that you had to do everything in your business and do it well. And I think it was like an ego thing or something. I still can't really figure it out, but it was like, who could do more things or who could work more hours? Oh, you work 60-hour weeks? I work 80. Excuse them all. Like that meant I was a better entrepreneur than you or something. Someone's laughing right now. Like, you only worked 80? Dude, I just worked 100 last week. I don't know what it was, but that's just how it is when you get started. You're like, yeah, I'm going to just prove myself. Like, I'm just going to work more hours than somebody. And that makes me more successful entrepreneur. And honestly, the first couple of years of doing that, it really wasn't a problem. Like, I was like, this is awesome. I loved every single minute of it. But after a few years, it really did start to take a toll, not just on like me personally, but like my family, my relationships with my wife, with my kids, my friends. But honestly, I still wasn't brave enough. I honestly was not brave enough to admit that to anyone at that time. And I look back and like, no, I was scared. And I told all my friends, how awesome it was to be an entrepreneur. And the truth is, I actually didn't have very many friends because all I did was work. I read the book E-Myth. It teaches about the entrepreneurial myth, which is that we start businesses, or businesses are started by entrepreneurs, when in reality, most of them are started by technicians because, we're good at the thing and whatever. We kind of want freedom. We're sick of working for someone else. And so he talks about the three different people. There's the entrepreneur, the manager, and the technician. And then I read the book Traction by Gino Wickman. And that opened it up even more. Where I was like, wait a minute, entrepreneur, there's actually a visionary and there's an integrator. That was huge for me. That was so big for me, understanding that I was a visionary and I didn't have to be a visionary and an integrator because that was very frustrating trying to do both. And I wasn't very good at one. And so, you start to feel bad about yourself. It's like, man, what's wrong with me? That was very therapeutic for me. That was access to freedom I had never experienced before. Just knowing that I didn't have to be great at everything to be great. I just had to be great at one thing. And this last week, I was in Vegas at Clippa, and they put on a great event, ClippaCon. And I was on an opportunity to speak, which was awesome. I love speaking. I get fired up. I usually say some inappropriate things, but no one left the room. So I felt good about that. The next day, I was part of a panel discussion. And one of the questions was like, if you could go back, what's one thing that you would change? One of the things that I would change, I would schedule business owner time. So you have to really start running your business or your business is going to continue to run you. Are you with me? Have you felt that? I felt it time and time again. I still feel it now. I have to schedule business owner time. Be intentional, be present, be a leader. Some of you work harder than you need to. I'm just being straight up. And some of you don't work hard enough. In the early stages of your business, it takes grind. And I think that's great, but it's also too easy to fall into the trap of just being a grinder your whole life. And I went years and years and years of doing this. So if you can break this cycle and schedule in entrepreneur time, literally every Friday or Tuesday or whatever works for you. But what if I told you, and what if I said, what if it was normal just to work 4 days a week? Now, some of you would freak out. Wait, what? 4? No, how am I going to get all this stuff done? I got to work 5. I got to work 6. I got to work 7. But who told you that you have to work 5, 6, or 7 days a week? I think it was Henry Ford that came up with this 5-day, 8 hours, not positive, but somebody came up with it and it's stuck. Who told you that you have to do that? So I'm officially giving you permission to work 4-day weeks. What the heck is going on? This is happening by the power invested in me. I hereby grant you permission to do whatever the F you want. This is your life. This is your business. You can do whatever you want. So this new power of entrepreneurship comes with some responsibility though. So let's go over that real quick. You have to start acting like an entrepreneur, which means you're not out trenching, it means you're not answering the phones. You're not out putting out fires. You can be an entrepreneur and still have a job within your company. Some of you working in your business, that's okay. But you only get one job, not 2 or 5 like you have now. Pick one. So if you like sales, do sales. You like installs, do installs. I'm not trying to get you to fire yourself completely from everything. I'm just trying to get you to fire yourself from the extracurricular jobs that you've taken upon yourself. You only get one job now, and you get to do it 4 days per week. The other day is your entrepreneur day. This day is the day that you create wealth. The other days, you're just making money. And the 5th day, you make wealth. Here's a little secret, guys. This is kind of hard to understand until you start to see this. But as you begin to create wealth, you'll start to care way less about money. It sounds weird, but it's true. And once you release your attachment to money, you won't be so fixated on it, and you won't feel the need to work so hard. You won't feel like you need to work that 5th, that 6th, that 7th day, because you're spending that one day a week working on creating wealth. You're going to release that attachment to money. And this is when you start working smarter versus working harder. And by the way, if you're not interested in wealth, then you should just go get a job somewhere. You work way too hard and you're not good enough person, like a boss to yourself. You don't get paid what you deserve being an owner operator. It's just not worth it. And you're sure as hell not getting freedom doing what you're doing now. So, I mean, really, what's the point, right? So spend this 5th day creating wealth, design your dream life, map out the business. What's the end game? Write it down. I remember not having an end game. I was like, I don't know, just want to just work. Like next week, I got to make $5,000. Like that was my end game, right? That's not good enough. You got to figure out the end game, reverse engineer it, create your plan. And without this intentional strategy, it won't work. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. We've heard that before, right? So will you accept my blessing? Will you accept my challenge? I have ordained you to the position of an entrepreneur, and there's no turning back. Are you guys with me? Today's your day to take the reins and take over. Go all in and stop making excuses. Light it up.